can be hard when you grow up. People fill you with doubt, you start thinking about what you're gonna do now. And it's do or die, gotta make it count. So lose your worries, let your problems go on until my whole body burns out. I ain't never gonna slow down. I ain't never gonna slow down.
Welcome everyone, this is Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden and I will be your mindset coach today. And today we're going to be talking about how to enhance your partner. Now, your partner can be your husband, your wife. Again, it could be anybody who you deem as your person of interest. If we are going to be very specific today, I'm going to say this is going to be the traditional aspect to relationships, a man and a woman, and we are going to be looking at traditional values in gender roles. I am 100% aware that this is not going to be everyone's situation because you might have a different situation, and it's perfectly fine to have a different situation than someone else. But what I will say is there are ways that a person can enhance the other person. For example, if I'm having a business, if I'm doing everything for the family, making sure everyone has food, clothes, all the bills are paid, what I do naturally. But then my wife, she doesn't work, she stays at home. What is her role? Because she needs an identity too. It's not going to just be, well, let me sit here and look pretty, or let me just sit here and raise the kids. It's a lot more interactive. And I know many people who think, especially when it comes to like other ladies, looking at other ladies, saying, oh, being a stay-at-home mom is so boring. Being a stay-at-home mom is not really a job. Being a stay-at-home mom is inferior to having a career. To be honest, I don't think those ladies understand the true value to have a woman stay at home with the kids and raise the kids. I mean, that is a huge flex on a family's side, because if a man can go out and make enough money for the family, then that right there can be maybe a reason why the ladies are so jealous, because maybe they don't have a man that can do that. Or maybe they just don't have the mindset to be the mom that can stay with the kids at home. And then you do have to look at the ladies who are going off into a career, who do have children. They might initially have a sense of guilt. Oh, I feel so guilty having to go to work because now my kid doesn't have a mom. That right there is going to require some coaching, some understanding of the situation, because you can be in a situation where you do want to work and you don't have to work, or vice versa. You do have to work and you don't want to work. And depending on your situation, our action is going to be different. So not everything that I'm going to be talking about on how to enhance your partner, your man, your woman, is going to be exactly in your situation, because you can have a different situation. Now, again, traditional values, traditional standpoints, the husband's going to work, the wife's going to stay at home. Now, if you want to have a more modern and you want to flip everything, you can. Just think about opposite day. Everything I say is going to be opposite. So the woman can go be the breadwinner, the man can stay at home. However, we're going to be looking at why that might not be the case if we look at the traditional values of what men typically are doing, what men are taught, and then how they are going to work out in a relationship. When we start to look at how a man can enhance his lady, there's going to be many different aspects to that, right? I have 5 right here. Number 1, provide stability. 2, protect and support. 3, lead with confidence. 4, express care through actions. And 5, foster a sense of security. We might see that 2 and 5 are going to be very similar. Our job as men is to be protectors. I know this is not popular to say, but men are bigger and stronger typically. And it's not that women can't be strong. It's not that women can't be big. It's just naturally that we're bigger. This is not to throw anyone under the bus. This is just to realize that the bus is there. So when we start to look at this list, there is an underlying, I guess you can say, trend for men. It is to provide. It is to make sure that the woman that you're with feels safe, feels secure, feels supported, feels loved. That right there is creating the security that she craves. Some might not want that security. Again, this might not be for everybody. And in our modern world today, not many people are going to find this as, oh, I'm going to listen to the traditional mindset of how to enhance your man or how to enhance your woman And I'm going to just say, well, this is what I need to do, especially if you're living in a modern mindset right now. Because if you're living in a modern mindset, most of these are probably going to be things you think about, but maybe things that you're going to say, I don't agree with that. And that's perfectly fine because, again, you're not thinking in the traditional aspect of gender roles. So the gender role for men typically is to protect and provide. And as you can see here, being a leader, protecting and supporting, providing stability, giving a sense of security, and then our actions speak louder than words. So we're not so much of an emotional beacon. We are the person that gets things done. We are the muscle. We are the moving force that's going to get things done. We are the person that if we don't know the way, we're going to find the way. That is typically what a man should do in a relationship. And that right there is going to help the relationship grow because now the woman feels safe. She feels secure. And most women back when they were, caveman era, right? They would find the strongest males because they always sought to find someone who could protect them so they can live on. That security aspect is in our DNA. Today, we don't necessarily need that because we have police. Again, this is where a lot of the issues are coming because now it's not so much of a man has his position anymore. There is still a position in the family, but you can be a career-driven woman. You can be one of those women who think, I'm independent. There's nothing wrong with having that mindset, but you have to understand, does that mindset help build your man? Well, then we get into the aspect of how do women enhance their man, right? Because ladies, your man is going to enhance you by, being there, supporting you, security, protecting and providing maybe. And I'm not saying that you can't pay the bills because if I ask a lady on the street, who pays on the first date? Men, right? Because naturally they want that idea of he's able to protect, he's able to provide for me. Because again, I'm almost 100% ladies, you can pay your own bill. But when a man pays, well, at least you get that feeling of I'm being provided for. And that's a turn on, especially when we look at traditional values. But then there's the aspect of, well, what do you bring to the table, ladies, right? And some women will say, I bring the table, right? I am the table. Oh, I make a house a home. That doesn't help a man. So we do have to look at, well, ladies, how can you enhance your man? Well, number one, nurturing and emotional support. 2, create a loving atmosphere. 3, collaborative decision-making. 4, demonstrate compassion. And 5, family and relationship care. All of these are going to be more on the emotional side, and typically men are going to be lacking in the emotional side. If we don't have this in the family, especially when we're raising kids, the kids are going to come out all sorts of messed up because they need that emotional support. Now, if we look at the studies, who raises better children, single moms or single fathers? Single fathers win. But it's not to say that single mothers don't do a damn good job either. But we can look at the statistics again. What is the reason for it? And the reason is because typically when a woman has to be a single mom, she's going to go out and work. She's going to take on a masculine role. She's going to want to be that support for her family. But if you're so stressed out, you're going to have a hard time focusing on the things that you should be doing or want to do maybe because you're in survival mode. I have to protect my kids. I have to provide for my kids when the man should have been doing that from the jump. And then you can't focus on what you're good at. I like to think of it as if you are a certain type of tool, and the tool can be whatever tool, screwdriver, hammer, saw, whatever. I'm not going to probably cut down a tree with a screwdriver. Is it possible? Well, yeah, I'm almost certain it's possible. Is it effective? 100% not. We are going to have a more difficult time using tools that are not for the task. And in a relationship, we're going to find that certain people are better at other things. But we don't have to be very specific when it comes to gender roles either. Because as you can see here, there's nothing about cooking. There's nothing about cleaning. It's only about emotional support for your man. Because going out and fighting the world, as I just said, with single moms, they're super stressed. This right here is an issue. So if you have a man, if you have a partner that's going out and working, you do have to be that emotional support for them. Now, this is not talking about happiness, people. A person cannot make another person happy. It might be a desire for you to make that person happy. But if I'm living my life in my marriage, I can't make my wife happy. I can't say, oh, you should be happy. You have a roof over your head, you have food in your belly, you have clothes on your back. That might not make her happy. Maybe she wants to talk. That could be something that she's thinking about. And if I'm not going to be attentive to that, I can't enhance her because now she's just in a state of, I am not happy. And if you're not happy, typically you're not moving forward. Think of depression. Depression is just a state of stuck. Ladies, you can make your man better. Men, you can make your woman better. But there are good ways and there are bad ways for that to happen. So that list right there, not super comprehensive. It is just the foundation for the real conversation, which is now. The real conversation is, how do you enhance your partner? How do you enhance your man? How do you enhance your lady? There are so many schools of thought here. What I will say is that neither needs someone, right? A man can live his whole life by himself and a woman can live her whole life by herself. Do we call that happiness? Do we call that fulfillment? It depends on the person, again. But today we're only going to be looking at the traditional value of relationships or the traditional aspects of relationships. Because when we're trying to get a relationship working, right, we need both sides. We need all the pieces of the puzzle. This is not something that, oh, I can do it. I'm already doing it. I don't need this other person. I'm sure you've probably seen a video, especially of, women saying, I'm independent. I don't need no man. Because what happened was the exasperation of, grandmas telling their, granddaughters and moms telling their daughters, go out, don't need a man, right? Just go out, get your own, get your education. And then they become independent. One of the main factors for this to happen wasn't because women just wanted to go work. What was happening was that they were getting unsavory situations in relationships. So for example, the husband will go to work. He would come home. He's just super stressed out. Again, work can be very stressful. And he's coming home. He's drinking. He's abusive to the family, to the wife, to the kids. And now the woman is trying to think, I don't feel safe. I don't feel secure. What would be the solution? And the solution typically was, if I don't have a man in my life, then I don't have to feel not safe anymore. But what's happening today is most women are saying, well, where are the men to be men and to keep me safe? We're not showing up because, again, times have changed and so have men. Not saying that there's not any more traditional men or men who are chivalrous. It's just a modern mindset. So living in a modern world with a traditional mindset is definitely conservative. But what I can say is, if you are trying to enhance your partner to some degree, we do have to look at it as a systematic approach. This is not so much of gender roles. It's about figuring out where you shine in the relationship, because I can be a really good cook and my wife can suck at cooking. It's not the case, but what I can say is, if I was good at cooking, why not cook? If I was good at cleaning, why not clean? And this right here, again, gender roles are going to be swinging left and right in people's brain. Oh, Michael, you're not supposed to be cooking. You're not supposed to be cleaning. And you're 100% right. That is not my zone of genius. I pay people to cook, to clean, to do the lawn, because I would rather be doing other things. I do things that I am better at, because there is that aspect of doing what you love, number one, and then what you're good at. And I'm not saying that if you're not good at something, you don't do it. But what I am saying is, if you're trying to enhance yourself, you should be doing the most important things all the time. If you're good at something, do it. Versus if you let someone else do it, it might be mediocre. But one of the things that I love when it comes to relationships and you're trying to enhance the other person, you have to communicate, right? If you're not communicating, everything's already out the window. I understand that you might think you know what a man generally wants. I might understand you might think you know what a woman generally wants, but oftentimes that is not the case. Most people have to figure out what the partner's love language is, their dislikes, their triggers. There's going to be different aspects to every relationship. What I will say, if you want a relationship to be really good, is to communicate. If you're not communicating 90 minutes a week with your partner, you're going to have some issues. And then you just have to be very verbal. And I know this is an issue because you might think, oh, they should know. Oh, they should be mind readers. No one is a mind reader, people. You can find a partner that can be really intuitive to your emotional needs, But most people today, they just don't have that within them. They just didn't learn it. It's just not a skill they have. So knowing that that's not a skill, we have to communicate what's going on. And men typically don't communicate. Ladies, what do? Well, one of the things you have to do to enhance your man is you have to be that support for him because he can't express that support he needs from you. Give him a back rub. Say, hey, babe, do you need anything? It could be those small things that are going to make him be 100% more effective. And I know you might be thinking, like, why do I have to do this for my man? The aspect is, if he's going out and working and you're being a stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom, or maybe you have to work. And then you can even ask yourself, do you want to work? Do you want to work when you're 40? Do you want to work when you're 50? Do you want to work when you're 70? I have many clients who are ladies who are by themselves and they're working and they're older. They don't want to work. They want to spend time with their grandbabies maybe. They're not in a relationship. So they're just trying to find a way to live life differently. And what I see from those older ladies is that they typically just sit on the sofa, watch TV, even though they have aspirations for something more in their life. It's just that they don't have that push anymore within them. They got tired. So there is an aspect to how you can push someone beyond 100%. Because if I gave one of those older women who lived her life and then now she's looking for love, looking for a partnership, but she's not taking any action, the moment you find someone for her and she wants to make his life good and he wants to make her life good, I can almost guarantee you that she's not going to be spending all the time that she would be in front of the TV. She might love her series and her shows, but she's going to have a new sense of purpose. And this is where in a relationship, I think many people fall short in understanding because there is a purpose for you being there. If I am in a relationship, I'm going to make sure that I do all the stressful things. Because if I look at like a man in a relationship, he should be doing all the stressful things. He should have all the gray hairs. He should have all the wrinkles. He should have all the calluses. He should be going through the gauntlet. In reality, most men fight many fights that most people are not going to see. I know there's an aspect like men will come home after work and they'll sit in their car or something like that. He's just fighting his battles. He's just trying to regulate. He's just trying to come in with a smile. And he's trying to be the person that he knows he can become. But it's difficult when you have a partner that is not supporting you in your endeavors. You come home and maybe the house is not clean, or you come home and there's no food, or you come home and you just don't feel loved. You don't feel supported. Because now in his head, he's saying, well, you're not doing the things that I need, and I'm doing everything to support you. What's going on? Now, I know what I just said was gender roles, because who cooks and who cleans, right? Typically the woman who's going to be at home. Can the husband cook and clean? Yes, he can. But again, if he's over here paying all the bills, doing everything he has to do, and the woman is staying at home, taking care of the kids, making sure the kids are good, she also has to make sure the person who's trying to take care of everything is good. Because if he's not good, there's no house, there's no food for the kids, there's no safety and security. So there's so many aspects that have to be looked at from both sides. The man can come in and start demanding his food and the house being clean, but that's not helpful. You have to have communication. But then on the woman's side, she might say, well, he's doing this for me, but I can do it myself. So now we're having conflicting mindsets, because if you can do it yourself, why are you not doing it yourself? And this is where I know many women, especially around the stages of divorce therapy and counseling, they're going to be expressing that, oh, like I just don't feel in love or blah, blah, blah. This right here is the aspect of the man failing to enhance his woman, because in a sense, he should be giving her the world. I understand this is anti-red pill when it comes to you should be having your woman, you should be sharing everything with her, making her happy. And it's not so much that you are making her happy, you're just embellishing her happiness. You should want to spoil your woman. You should want to give her the world. You should want to make sure that she has the best clothes and the best care. That is your job. Protect and provide. Now, there is a concept that men can sometimes put women in places of power that they don't deserve. Maybe just a guy looking at a girl trying to get into a relationship, and the guy saying, oh, she's so great, and he's doing all this for her, and he's not getting anything in return. There is a name for those men. But what I am saying is that you do have to be in a relationship for this to work, right? Even if you are in a relationship, what are your standards? What are your set points? Because you can be in a relationship and you can be doing everything for a person that's just not appreciative. Are you communicating? Number one. Most likely you're not communicating enough if you feel like you're not appreciated. Because if you are communicating enough, then each person knows. But then you have to understand there are going to be aspects where certain people are going to be better at certain things. And you should have some intuition where you say, I'm really good at this, let me do this. You do have to try to minimize as much stress in the household as you can, or consolidate it. Not saying you hide it away, but you consolidate it. As you enhance your partner, stress shouldn't be the foundation for how you're enhancing them. Because if I'm stressed out, how can I enhance my partner? Because my stress is going to come through in my actions. It's important that you know how to manage, how to self-regulate. There's a lot that you need to know. Enhancing your partner is not an easy thing. It's not a mandatory thing either. Do you have to enhance your partner? No, right? I mean, you can just say, they have to figure it out for themselves. I figure everything out for myself, but you're better off being single at that point, because now, a relationship is two people working together for one endeavor, family typically. One of the best reasons for marriage is raising a family. I understand love can be an aspect. Oh, I want to find someone I love. I want to find someone that I care for. Okay, cool. That can be marriage. But to be honest, most people today, again, this is more modern views, are not getting married. They're just being in forever situationships or relationships. Because why get married? Well, because we lost the idea of family. And this is where the whole concept of this topic has come, because when you're trying to raise a family, when you have two people working towards something, you're going to get so much further than if you did it by yourself. I like to think of it as if you're trying to do some yard work, if you're trying to build a home, whatever manual labor task you have to do, it's more difficult if you have to do it yourself. How long would it take you to do something by yourself versus if you have people? It's going to be a lot quicker if you have someone helping you along the way, especially if they're skilled. Because you might say, okay, well, I have a partner, but my partner doesn't do anything. Okay, well, you're probably better off alone. But the issue with that is you're just breaking up with people because they're not the person that you need them to be. When you are in a relationship, the other person doesn't necessarily know what you need. They have to learn. And so you do have to learn your ladies. You do have to learn your men. And if you're not learning, how can you enhance them? Because what your person needs is going to be totally different maybe than what the next person needs. Because you might have a man who's emotionally sound. He doesn't need emotional support, but maybe he's struggling on the finances. So maybe in the beginning, you start to help him with his business and you help build him. This is a total shift in where we go today, right? It's no longer building people, right? We don't want fixer-upper projects. We want the end result. We want the end product. As long as you have that mindset, you are going to be less likely to be with people who can build. You want people who are already established, especially if you are established. It's a difficult place to be in because you don't want to enhance somebody because it's going to feel like it's detracting from you. There is so much when it comes to enhancing your partner, enhancing in your relationship. What I will say to finalize everything is that you get to decide what type of enhancements you do for each other. And what I would recommend is to sit down with your partner and just to communicate. What do you need from me? It's a simple question, but it's a powerful question. What do you need from me? Maybe you get the gender role question. I just need you to sit there, look pretty, keep the house clean, give me some food when I get home, sex here and there, sex every day, whatever the stipulation is or whatever he needs. Cool. He might ask, well, what do you need, babe? I need you to love me. I need you to care. I need you to take me out. I need you to appreciate me. I need you to make me feel safe. I need you to protect our family. Okay, cool. We can communicate that. It can be very different than what I just said, but you do need to ask, how can I help? How can I be of help to you? How can I make you better? How can I make our life better? It can be just sitting down together and just trying to figure things out, help with planning. It can be that. But then at the same time, again, traditional roles, the man should know everything, but that's not the case. We inquire, we ask, we know. If this Christmas, I'm just not going to get my wife something that I think she's not going to like, I might hint saying, hey, is there anything you want? And she might say, oh, I want this or I want that. And I say, okay, cool. I'll think about it, put it in my back pocket, get it for her later. This is a concept of me just showing affection with my actions. This is how men love. Okay, we love differently. Woman can love by, saying I love you, morning text, whatever. That question, can I help you, is a powerful question. And it's a question that you should be asking in your relationships right now. If you are in a relationship, ask, how can I help you? How can I enhance your life? How can I make you better? And it should be vice versa too. How can I help you? And it can be, I want to start a business. I want to grow something. It can be, I want to be a stay-at-home wife. I want to be a stay-at-home dad. I mean, again, everything is different, but we do have to look at traditional aspects. This is what this blog was about. But then again, you can't be traditional in a modern world all the time. So I like to call it traditional with modern flares. So just depending on where you are, communicate. I know we can just kind of be those gun-ho men and just say, I'm a dude by myself and I'm going to move everything that I need to move by myself. And the aspect of being that lone warrior can be lonely. And especially when you're so stressed out and you have a family to feed and you have to provide for everyone, it can be daunting. And then especially if you have someone who eventually is not appreciative to what you're doing, can set you off in the wrong manner. It is happening left and right because of lack of communication. Just asking the simple question, how can I enhance you? How can I make you better? How can I be of service to you? How can I make your life better than what it is today? It's a question that many people are not going to ask, even though I said this is one of the best questions you can ask. If you ask, you're going to get the answer. If you don't ask, you're not going to get the answer. And your relationship is going to slowly start to either move toward growth or it's going to move toward dissolvement. I would rather you have a relationship that moves toward growth and prosperity. But again, I can't force you to do things. But what I will say is, if you can enhance the person that you're with today, everything is going to be changing, your circumstance, your situation, your whole entire mindset, all because you decided to help somebody, all because you decided to help the person that you love, hopefully. And it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to cook and clean for them. Everyone is different. Understand that it can be specific gender roles. Oftentimes it's not. To be honest, I just want my wife to make sure everything is just taken care of at the house to some level, to some degree, and then to pray for me. I mean, it is that simple. I'm going to go out, fight the world. I'm going to go out and do everything that I have to do. I'm going to go out and do the hard things. And if I need some help, I'll let her know. But this is the relationship. The states of most relationships today are in a habitual decay because they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to ask. So all in all, learn your partner, learn how to enhance them, and learn how to make the relationship grow. Because if your relationship is not growing, or if you're not growing together, you're going to be dying together. And we don't want that. We want you to be on the good side of life. And that is going to be making sure the other person is good. And if you need help, we are here, revenconcepts.com. More than happy to assist, more than happy to give you any guidance to learn about your situation and then to be of service to you. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, email me coachinginsession@gmail.com. And I'll see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone take care.